Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Buckle This podcast, the podcast that's just abnormal enough to survive. My name is Drew. Joining me, as always, will be Josh.
Hey, guys.
And Cole.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Alright, so what are we going to do here, guys? What's the deal with this podcast? What are we talking about?
Talking about all things kind of sci-fi, pop culture, even some regular science stuff, anything that pops in that interests us that's pop culture related or science related. I personally like gaming, anything Star Wars, and comics. So that's what I'll be focusing on, but I'm sure we all have other interests and we'll all be focused on that too.
Cole, very similar to him. Movies, comics, gaming, TV, you name it. I tend to dabble in a little bit of everything. So that's nothing seems to be off subject for me. So.
Alright, today the topic is going to be just like the comic book universe, like DC, Marvel, Fox, Sony, any of that stuff. I should...
Poor Fox.
poor Fox. Rip Fox.
Yeah. Yeah, I just brain farted already on the first episode. That's good.
It's okay. I live my life
No,
in perpetual brain fart. It's fine.
That's good. I think we should start off talking about Marvel versus DC, just the cinematic universe,
right.
And then we'll then lead into the others because, from my perspective, I have enjoyed the Marvel movies immensely, and I feel that DC has failed to capture what DC's about.
Right.
For me personally, I've loved reading all the comics for DC growing up, more so than Marvel, and just the direction or lack thereof of Warner Brothers compared to Disney and Marvel is leaps and bounds. That's just where that's where I'd like to start with.
Yeah.
I think that Marvel seems. Oh, there's a train in the background. You have to excuse us.
It's the fourth member.
Yeah. Yes. Well.
Uncredited.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll put him in the description.
Yeah.
Link to his Twitter for him.
I just think that Marvel, obviously they've had, well, I shouldn't say they've had more years of experience because that's not the case, but theirs is much more polished, much more fun, commercially successful than DC, which I know they're trying to go darker and edgier, but I don't think it's a mass appeal to everybody.
Right.
And I just fear that they're really, really hurting future productions by doing that.
I think the biggest difference between those two is Marvel has Kevin Feige or however that's pronounced, like in charge, and he seems to like really streamline the whole process, and I don't know, it just feels like a very cohesive. Not that the DC movies don't feel cohesive, but the Marvel ones are just, I don't know, they're cohesive in a different way, where I don't know, like you watch Infinity War, and it feels like picking up like an event issue of a comic book. It feels like you're just picking up, Marvel's yearly sweet event. You just see all these characters you love, and it just, I don't know, they pull it together in a really impressive way that DC is capable of. I'm sure they just don't have that, like, the leadership or the direction. They don't have that person behind the scenes fitting everything together like Marvel seems to.
Seems like they're just fanboys, but they're not.
Especially in regards to, Justice League, and even the theatrical version of Batman versus Superman. It just seems like, especially with Justice League, it was extremely rushed. I know that they lost Zack Snyder, had some family issues and whatnot, but they brought in another director to finish it up. But you could just tell that there were two totally different story modes that they wanted to go with.
Right.
And I agree with you, where there's just not somebody there that really not necessarily knows how to put it all together, but it seems like, oh my gosh, we have to put something out to compete with Marvel. We have to do it. We have to do it. Now, Batman versus Superman, the Ultimate Edition, I loved immensely.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was much more polished story than what they put out in theaters, and I wish they just would have released that one. But I don't know if that's just Warner Brothers being picky or whatnot. But
I think that is. I think it's just like Marvel. It seems like if they get a director that doesn't play nice with like the producers and Phage, they just sort of kick them out and get a new director.
kick them out, yeah.
But DC, they sort of seem to always be at odds with each other, and so the director's cut of the
Yeah.
movie's great, but the theatrical, the producers got their way, and it hurts them because if someone doesn't like it in the theater, most aren't going to go get the director's cut. It's like, oh, it's going to be even more suck, when it's not the case.
Yeah.
But that's what they just assume.
And that director's cut was leaps. It was so much better than the theatrical version.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought with the theatrical version, you'd watch it, you're like, man, there's an awful lot missing there. And then you watch the Ultimate Edition, and you're like, now how in the world would you think to cut that out? Like, that was, like, key to the story.
Yeah. Like, Zack Snyder doesn't make movies that, like, really can be less than 3 hours long. Like, he makes movies, and he takes his time. He tells the story in a different way.
Which I loved Watchmen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Loved it.
But they need all those scenes to fit it together.
Yeah.
It just seems that the first Man of Steel movie was I really enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it's the only real Man of Steel movie. But it was enjoyable. It looked like they had places to go after that movie. But they really tried capitalizing on what Marvel was doing by bringing more characters in. So they had the Batman vs Superman, and now I think that they're leaving some of the storyline that they could have capitalized on for Man of Steel just to the wayside.
Yeah.
And it just felt like they pressed way too hard. And now, they're talking about making this other Man of Steel movie, but now you don't even hear anything about them making one. It just seems like they're not organized. They don't have a timeline that they want to follow. They just want to plug and play, and it can't work that way. You have to have some kind of creative direction.
I really don't want them to lose Henry either.
No, he's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a good Superman. You don't get to see him much as Clark Kent, so
Yeah.
you don't know how he is playing, the bumbling reporter or whatever, but he does a great job as Superman.
Yeah. What we got to see of him as Clark and Batman v Superman, I really, really liked. It just, there weren't a lot of scenes. Perry especially is great in those. I love him as Perry. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I just think that, I don't know, Warner Brothers has really dropped the ball on the whole thing, because Superman Returns, there's a lot of things I liked about it. There's a lot of things I did not like about it. But that was a decent movie. And then they went into this new direction, which was fine, that they tried something new. And I just think that they got a little panicked because there was some backlash.
Yeah.
It's like, stick with what you're doing. Don't all of a sudden try bringing all these characters in. You got to build this thing up. Get it just like a snowman. Get it rolling.
Well, they've done an awesome job with Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Wonder Woman was sweet.
And that's, they did a great job with her. I just wish that they could, do that with all of them.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I feel like, like the behind the scenes at Warner Brothers, like all the execs and stuff there, like they have the same expectations for the characters as the Marvel characters. And the thing is, like, they're just totally different kinds of characters. The same people that connect with Marvel characters probably aren't going to connect with DC characters as much if they're not, like, so ingrained in, like, comic culture.
Yeah.
Correct.
So they need to just throw those expectations out the window, I think, and just have different ones.
I agree. And I'm not talking as much about Marvel right now because it's just much more polished. So right now I'm just kind of ragging on DC and Warner Brothers, which I really wish wasn't the case because I like DC so much more than Marvel. That's mostly what I grew up on was DC. But even when they did that Suicide Squad movie, you have Jared Leto doing a Joker. Cole and I were just talking off before we went on air here about how I thought it wasn't the greatest casting, but we didn't really get a chance to see anything in that movie about him.
Yeah.
And then now all of a sudden you're bringing in Joaquin Phoenix, which I think will do an excellent job.
Mm.
I just don't understand all the switching. Now we're doing a Joker movie. I just still seem like they're just throwing darts at a dartboard, but not aiming. Just tossing things, seeing what sticks.
Yeah. The thing with Joker is I think no matter who they cast as Joker in Suicide Squad, it's very hard to introduce Joker in a cinematic universe without having Batman in the same movie, because Joker's the antithesis of Batman. You need to have him there for push and pull, and you can have him do his own stuff afterwards. But I feel like it's very hard to have the Joker have the right feel without Batman there when he's getting established. It felt kind of weird.
Yeah.
It felt weird. I don't think we needed Joker origin, to be honest.
Mm-mm.
But
no, I was
just reading.
Good.
Oh, I was just reading today that they're talking about bringing the Penguin back for the Batman movie or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to have Ben Affleck or not, because that's a
whole
debacle.
That's a whole other situation there.
Just I don't know. It just seems like they're scrambling eggs and it's not turning out too well.
You look at the Marvel roadmap and they just have it's just almost seemingly impeccable. Like they have a movie supposed to come out here and it's going to come out then. They might move it forward, but God forbid it come out after that. In DC, it just seems sort of like, well, maybe put this out then, maybe we won't. Like Cyborg movie, that's supposed to come out. What was that supposed to be next year? I guarantee you that's not going to happen. Like there's been no time.
I haven't heard anything about it. Yeah. And this seems like this Flash movie just keeps changing directors.
Yeah, which is disappointing because
it's disappointing because that was the only high point in my opinion of the Justice League.
Mm-hmm. He was great.
Flash.
Yeah. That was a perfect casting.
I mean, there were a couple, but that one was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was.
And his interaction with Superman.
Yeah. No,
I laughed and laughed.
Just that whole scene where Superman's fighting them and Flash coming up in slow mo and Superman turns and sees him. That was just gold.
Yeah. So that's one of my favorite parts of the scene, just the way his eyes were.
Yeah.
But I think that when I'm saying they're doing things wrong and doing things backwards by not introducing these characters before, that being said, I think this Aquaman movie that's coming out doesn't look like a total downer.
Mm.
The previews didn't look too bad, and I'm assuming it's supposed to it's got to be taking place before Justice League.
Right.
So a prequel of sorts, but it looks like it has potential. So hopefully, I forget who's directing it, but hopefully
James Wan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I should have known that.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully that he does it right.
Yeah.
And they can start fleshing these characters out some, because right now they seem very just no depth to them at all.
Yeah, I feel like Batman and Superman both have a lot of depth, and Wonder Woman did in her movie, and not so much in Justice League, but in her movie they did. But then just Flash and Cyborg and Aquaman, they didn't have anything to do really in Justice League besides just punch things,
Comic relief.
Yeah.
Yep. Comic relief.
Yeah, it was very they do so much in an episode of Justice League Unlimited with these characters, and they couldn't figure out how to do it in a movie, which is disappointing.
Yeah.
You're just touching on that. That's what they should
just follow their animated movies.
Yeah.
Their animated movies are night and day better than the cinematic ones, because their animated movies are just knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
Once in a while you get one that's so-so, but overall they're just excellent. I love those things. Even their animated TV shows are amazing without being the feature-length movie.
Mm-hmm. I do feel though the future of DC is looking a little better, because while I think it's a little weird to have the Joker movie come out soon, and then they have the Leto Joker movie coming out not long after that. It seems a strange decision, but I like that. It'll be cooler to have just some sort of standalone superhero movies again, just a Joker movie that has nothing to do with anything else. It could just be entertaining in and of itself, and if they do more stuff like that could be cool. They need to make sure it feels very different so that it's not confusing for a casual person coming in.
Yeah. You can't go through and binge watch all these DC movies like you could Marvel.
Right.
the normal person would be absolutely lost.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like Batman v Superman especially is one where, like, I enjoyed it in the theaters. I enjoyed it a lot more like the Ultimate Edition, but even the Ultimate Edition, like, it's just a really smart movie. Like, you need to watch that a lot of times to really pick up on everything.
That the Shazam movie that's coming out, maybe that might change my opinion on DC completely, because
that looks really good.
That does.
That when that trailer dropped back at Comic-Con, I thought, wow, they're onto something on this one.
Yeah. I watched that before Aquaman trailer because I figured I would like the Shazam trailer, but I was going to love the Aquaman trailer. And while I liked the Aquaman trailer, I thought it felt like a little stiff, but James Wan's an incredible director, so I'm sure it'll be a really good movie. The Shazam trailer was just fantastic. Like, that blew me away.
I would definitely concur on that. It looked funny, it looked original. It sounds like they're going to set up, if I'm reading things right, they're going to have a Black Adam standalone movie come out after that. And then the third movie would be those two confronting each other.
The rumor right now is that Black Adam, I think, gets introduced in Suicide Squad 2. The rumor is the Suicide Squad and Suicide Squad 2 are going to Kandak to deal with Black Adam, and then that'll set him up in his own movie with The Rock playing Black Adam.
I haven't heard anything about Suicide Squad 2. I assumed it was. There's no Phase 4 plan like Marvel. It just seems
like you said, throwing it at dartboard, seeing what sticks.
And I'm hoping that changes in the future, but I can't wait till they drop a Wonder Woman preview.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That's gonna be pretty sweet.
Especially with Hans Zimmer coming back for the score.
Yeah.
Now what Marvel movies are coming out? Nothing else this year, I don't think.
I don't think so this year. I think the next one is Captain Marvel.
Correct.
I don't remember when that is. March 8th next year.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I knew it was at least a couple months before Infinity.
Yeah, and that one's
whatever the sequel's gonna be called.
Right, that one's May 3rd then.
Does Galaxy or Guardians of the Galaxy come out before that, or before Infinity, or after?
That might not happen.
That might not happen at all.
Oh yeah,
it's on the back burner.
Yeah,
I forgot. It's down indefinitely.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get into that.
Yeah, I feel like that one just won't exist, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The Marvel's gonna have their hands full though soon when this 20th Century Fox deal goes down. So
yeah, I really can't wait.
As much as the Marvel movies have been polished, if you look at the other side of that with the Fantastic Four and the X-Men movies, not to say that any of them were completely horrible, they clearly didn't follow a comic book path
or structure almost whatsoever.
Or structure or anything. And oh god, I hope they get it right.
Yeah.
They should. I don't know why they wouldn't. They've done such a good job with the regular stuff right now that I hope they knock it out of the park. So
they should really reintroduce the X-Men and build off the team that everybody knows about instead of having some of these odd characters in there. Do it like their animated series, which was a great animated series. But the X-Men franchise so far up to this date has been very, very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Not only has it been confusing, they've made the movies and then they've essentially gotten rid of their movies in their own time. I mean, it's okay. So now you've invested how much of your time as a teenager and stuff growing up watching this stuff, and then you realize, oh crap, it didn't mean anything.
Yeah. Well, they've become self-referential in making fun of their own movies with like Deadpool and stuff, with how just utterly baffling it is.
Yeah. Oh, Deadpool. I mean, that's obvious. Instant classic there too.
Yeah.
And I hope they don't screw that up. Leave it the way it is.
Yeah, they've said that they're gonna keep like that kind of content, but I don't know that I trust Disney to do that.
Well, and then, speaking of Disney, and I mean, for crying out loud, look what they've had the Punisher do on Netflix.
That's
so
true. That is true.
that was kind of that was surprising to me that, like, wow, Disney owns this and actually allowed this to happen.
I think I'll be surprised if they allow that same sort of content on the big screen. Like I feel like they view it as a lower risk on Netflix, but I think they could really reap in some benefits if they allow stuff like the New Mutants movie and Deadpool to keep happening the way they are, and like stuff like Logan. Like it was just fantastic and very original.
Yeah,
They need to keep coming out with like original stuff, or it's just going to become sort of dull. You know, like the whole genre.
Yeah.
Not that you need to be rated R to be original, but you need to be able to experiment somewhat and then refine it.
yeah,
They could do plenty of experimenting on some of these X-Men characters because there's plenty of them that they could do solo movies. Like they're going to do Gambit, which would have been a cool one. I don't know if I agree with the casting on that, but Channing Tatum doesn't seem like a Gambit character to me. But
he doesn't seem like Gambit to me, but I love Channing Tatum, so I'd watch it.
Yeah. But I think they could have done something like with him. They could have easily do a Cyclops movie, make him actually an interesting character instead of just
whiny,
whiny,
jealous type.
Yeah.
yeah. There's so many characters they could do. Just as long as there's no Jubilee, I'm cool with that.
The most useless X-Men ever.
Yeah. Might be one of the most useless comic book characters ever.
I don't think there's a whole lot of dispute. I think she's in the top 10 no matter what list you look at.
Yeah. You could do something with. I'd like to see Omega.
That'd be awesome.
Have him on there, the bad guy. Have him as a bad guy one time. It's Mr. Sinister. Like
Classic.
he's a huge bad guy. Yeah, I don't know why he's not. They didn't even like. He's not even in there. It just seems like a waste.
That's because they got to keep using the same people, Josh. You see.
Yeah. You got to keep using Sentinels and Stryker and
Phoenix.
Phoenix again and again.
You got to put Magneto through the same arc every movie because that doesn't get old.
No, not at all. It's not. It doesn't. Yeah. Seen it for the 100th time. It doesn't. You know.
I got 10 times left.
Haven't I seen this before? Oh wait. No.
I had some severe deja vu moments in Apocalypse. I was like, this is like, oh my god. I feel so bad for Fassbender. Like he has to just read these scripts and be like, just use the same footage. Like, I don't even know why I'm here.
Save ourselves an awful lot of money. We just.
I've
already said the line.
But another thing that you were talking about the one time was you were looking forward to them getting Fantastic Four, right?
I can't wait. I have not seen Fant Four Stick, so I can't give an opinion on that movie. But it looked. That's the third one. Yeah, the one where they couldn't spell Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
But
I didn't even bother to watch it.
And it sucks because I really, Michael B. Jordan is a fantastic actor, and he's just personality-wise, he's fantastic for Johnny Storm. But I watched the trailer and I just couldn't do it. The movie just looks so weirdly angsty and bad.
It looked terrible.
Yeah.
And fellow comic book fans, I just belittled it. I mean, it didn't have a point. It was.
Oh, you've seen it?
You could narrow it down to 10 minutes, and that was it dragged. I mean, it was just.
It hurts me.
I couldn't put myself through it.
I knew I was just gonna be sad for like a week if I watched it.
Yeah.
And somehow that director still keeps finding work. I'm not sure how that works out.
Chronicle was really good. I'm pretty sure he's the guy that directed
Chronicle. Was.
Yeah, so I feel like he has the talent. I don't know if he got meddled with, or if he's a one-hit wonder or something. But
don't know. But
which is Chronicle?
It was like
some kids got superpowers.
Yeah.
It's not the one with Diesel.
No. No. It was basically shot pretty much like Cloverfield, wasn't it?
Like a found footage.
You got somebody, like somebody's got a video camera and filming it. It was really good.
Mm-hmm. It was very good.
It was really good, and I don't know what happened to Fantastic Four, but that was.
That's two of their big franchises, though. I can see Disney really focus on trying to get people interested.
Yeah.
Now I see Disney brought back, or Marvel just brought back the Fantastic Four comic book now that canceled.
Because that was all by ploy there.
Yeah, that was all to kill the other people.
Yeah. Force them to sell it back to you. Well played, Disney.
So hopefully they do better.
Yeah.
They have to do better. It can't be any worse.
That's yeah.
It can't be. Just take my word for it. It can't be any worse.
Well, the only way it could be worse is if it was Joss Whedon's Justice League.
Jeez.
I hate to go back.
Had to go there, didn't you?
I hate to go back to DC, but
That's like my trigger word. Trigger. I guess the cycle of 3 words: Joss Whedon. I guess 4 words.
yeah.
Justice League. That just it's the
I
depressing.
guess you
episode.
can even say Joss Whedon's. I can't even think of it. Age of Ultron, Avengers 2.
Yeah. That was
That was seemed like he's just riding his own coattails, or they didn't let him finish something, or I don't know. But that seemed like it was just.
Seemed like the stress got to him. I think is what you would read about afterwards was. It seemed like he couldn't handle this. Like the first one, he kind of went through it, and then he got himself all worked up and trying to duplicate what he did in the first, and just kind of sounds like he kind of burned himself out on it.
Yeah, I feel like that's easy to do.
And whether Disney tried to get involved or not, that may have irritated him. I don't know, but yeah, there are a couple scenes in Avengers 2 where you could be like, yeah, and our 4th guest has come back into the studio.
Yeah, he wants to have a say on Joss Whedon.
That's right.
That's what I thought about Joss Whedon too.
I do think Joss Whedon is a very good writer. I think he's very, very good writer, and I think he can direct stuff that doesn't need
Just don't let him write a Wonder Woman script.
Yeah, that sounded really bad. I read what that sounded awful.
I didn't read about it because I had no interest to.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it if you want to be like in a good mood.
I think he should stick with television. Like some of his TV shows are really good, and I think
Firefly.
I really think that he should stick with that because his style of writing seems to really do well in that medium.
I think I don't think I have like facts to back this up, but he's credited as a producer on. I don't know if either of you guys have seen it, but Cabin in the Woods. It was like the best horror movie, like almost of all time. I love that movie. But
I've heard of it.
When you watch it, you can tell he had a hand in writing it, just with the dialogue wise.
Yeah.
I feel like he could be a good TV writer or a movie writer. He just stuff that doesn't need to be super visually interesting. I feel like is stuff he should direct. As far as a movie goes, it just doesn't seem like to me he has like the eye to make that stuff really cool.
No, I would agree.
I'd agree.
Yeah, I feel like, especially like comparing that his eye to Zack Snyder, say that was just an utter tragedy of a mishmash because Zack Snyder has like the perfect visual eye for like cool things, and then to combine him with Joss in the same movie was just utterly confusing.
Two totally different styles.
Yeah.
Like, why on earth would you pick him to do your finish it up? I just don't. I don't know.
I think it was a classic Warner Brothers who's like, well, Avengers was good. Let's just hire the guy who did that. And it's like, well, but they're very different, you see. But you can't explain that to them.
And, it's probably shareholders pushing it and all that too.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get financial backing, though. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that's why comics is always like a very seemingly original medium, is because you don't have these millions upon millions of dollars riding on a book. You just have whatever you're paying the people doing it. And so they can experiment and make really cool things, but then they make movies based on these comics where they're not allowed to do very cool things very often. And it just, I don't know, it's strange. It's a strange world.
That it is.
Hopefully DC settles down, gets it together. Hopefully Disney can reel in that 20th Century Fox stuff.
Yeah.
Make it, appealing to the audience again.
And if anybody from Disney decides to listen, more over to Lucasfilm. If you guys could put the drum roll back to the Star Wars movies, that'd be great.
I hadn't thought about that. I do miss that.
The fanfare.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I desperately miss it. I didn't know I did, but that was missing from my life.
I cry myself to sleep every night too.
It's been decades, Disney. Decades.
Hopefully, that'd be nice if they did that.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some independent comic stuff start getting made. I know they're making another Spawn movie.
Mm-hmm. With Todd McFarlane directing, which is very interesting and cool.
Yeah.
That could be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see that. There's some other ones I'd like to see come out in the future. But now's the time to be alive, man. You get to see all sorts of comics.
Yeah, I feel like we're hitting that period where we're just sort of hitting the peak. Like, not quite there, but we're hitting everybody's having, like, their creative juices flowing, and all the best people are just throwing themselves at comic book properties. I think we're just going to get, like, a big barrage of really cool things that aren't even necessarily Marvel and DC, but just comic book stuff in general very soon.
Yeah.
Stuff from Image and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yep.
You could have even some of those darker graphic novels or trade paperbacks or whatever. You could really pull into those, and you could get some good stuff out of that.
Well, we're getting a Deadly Class show, which was a Image book, I believe written by Rick Remender. I can't remember the artist's name, but that's I don't know what it's going to be on, but they had a preview for that. It looks like super sweet. It's like basically just like an academy for people to train to be assassins, but like teenagers. It looks really good.
Nice.
What is DC's properties of Vertigo?
Yeah.
Is that their alternate, like...
It's like where Constantine came from and stuff.
Yeah, you could really... They have... I'm glad that HBO is doing this Watchmen that's coming out, whenever that's coming.
Yeah.
But I really think DC and Vertigo and HBO together can really explore certain avenues that they couldn't do in theaters.
Yeah. HBO just seems willing to do whatever. As long as it's good, they're just willing to put it out. Like, no matter how risky, which is cool.
Yeah, which is good. And it's going to be hard to top that Watchmen movie, like Cole mentioned earlier, because it was excellent.
It was fantastic, yeah.
Especially the director's cut or whatever. I don't know if that's what they call it, the director's cut.
Yeah, I think on that one, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. So I'm kind of anxious to see this HBO series, to see what they do with it.
Yeah. It's not they're being very coy about how they're describing it. Like, it's not a sequel. It's not a prequel. But it has some of the same characters? From what I've read.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. Like, what are you guys doing with
yeah,
it?
that's a confusing way to describe a thing that I'm willing to wait and see.
Yeah. Hopefully they pull it off, because I would seriously consider subscribing to HBO.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they end up doing.
Yeah.
Overall, I like the direction things are all heading overall with everybody.
Yeah.
Get to see stuff you wouldn't have got to see 10, 15, 20 years ago. Like when I grew up, Cole's not too far behind me, some of those superhero movies were not the best.
Questionable at best.
Yes. You had some,
You had some good ones in there. I mean, you had...
First Batman.
First Batman was fantastic. Batman Returns was...
I shouldn't say the first Batman.
Yeah.
Not the...
You don't...
Wow. How?
Oh, come on. Adam West. Classic. Come on.
But first couple Superman movies were sweet. And I'm going to choose to ignore all the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. I tried. But I think now that they can pull off certain things with CGI, and now that more actors are more willing to play those types of roles, the future's pretty bright with that medium.
Yeah.
For the record, I will say this. the Tobey Maguire movies weren't half bad until Spider-Man 3 when he went all emo. That's where they lost me. And I think that was a similar situation where they wanted Sam Raimi to make a movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't one that he necessarily wanted. They wanted to throw Venom in it. And he lost that fight. That's just how it looked to me, anyway.
I was watching a thing on it today, and that is exactly what happened. He just said he didn't understand the Venom character. He didn't want to put a character in a movie that he didn't understand. Understandably so.
Makes
yeah,
sense.
But they were just like, no, do this. Here's money, do this. And so he did it.
Yeah. See, Venom's coming out. When's that? Next month? A couple months?
October, I think.
Is it really that
Next
soon?
month?
Yeah. I think so.
Holy crap.
Yeah, probably before Halloween, because that kind of character itself to Halloween.
Yeah.
But I saw that director today said he wouldn't confirm or deny that about Spider-Man. Anything about Spider-Man. Whether or not he was in the movie or not.
Now, this goes back to what we were talking about in regards to the Joker. It would be very hard, and this is what I don't know how this is going to turn out, but it would be very hard to have a Venom movie if you don't mention Spider-Man, because Venom gets his power because it copies itself of Spider-Man first. And I don't know how they're going to explain that. I hope they do.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Like, he's got all these weird... In the movie, he has all these weird white veins on his chest, forming the vague symbol of a spider. Because they're not allowed to put a spider on his chest, because it wouldn't make sense because he wasn't attached to Spider-Man. Which is just very strange to me. But...
So they might as well just go ahead and put Spider-Man in there.
I heard something the other day that Tom Hardy has signed on for 3 Venom movies. I feel like it'll be very hard to make 3 Venom movies without involving Spider-Man at some point. And I also think... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's confirmed now that the movie's PG-13. So it would not be hard to include Spider-Man in it.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to envision a PG-13 Venom, though.
Well, especially if you threw Carnage in it, you couldn't do it at all.
Yeah. I think it's possible to, like... Sometimes violence is scarier if you, like, allude to it. So if they have a very coy, like, way of shooting it or something, they could get away with it, I think. But it would take a really good director who knows what he's doing. And I don't know anything about the guy who's directing Venom, so I can't say.
I don't know anything about Sony, so I don't know
Well,
they're capable.
in their defense, I don't know if Sony knows anything about Sony movies.
Could be.
They kind of had Spider-Man taken from them, and you know, they found out how to make it successful. Well, they saw somebody make it successful.
I will say
again, not to say that.
Go ahead.
Not to say that the Tobey Maguire movies weren't successful, but they didn't do much with the Amazing Spider-Man stuff.
Which I hate because I liked Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2. I thought they were good, especially Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 3, I feel like it gets a little more flack than it probably deserves, but it was definitely a far lower quality.
Far Cry.
Yeah. But I really, really quite enjoyed the Amazing Spider-Man movies, especially the second. That second one is one of my favorite movies of all time. I just feel like it was just a perfect Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield, loved him. I loved how he was written. I grew up on the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, and that's sort of what they were doing with that. So it just felt like the Spider-Man for me. So I was just absolutely heartbroken when they got when Marvel got Spidey. Not because I don't think Marvel does a good job with him. That was just my Spider-Man. So I couldn't really go into Homecoming with a fair set of eyes. I'm a little harsher on that movie than I should be. I recognize it's a good movie, but I just can't quite enjoy it. Tom Holland's great and all, but I just can't. It's too fresh a wound, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't watch it because based on the previews, which I've been told I've been wrong, but based on the previews, it looked like Iron Man 4. So I chose not to watch it.
He's only in 5 or 10 minutes of it, probably. He's in 3 scenes, maybe.
Okay, so I just chose not to watch it because the wound's too fresh for me to, Tobey Maguire is my Spider-Man.
Oh dear Lord, what was the first Spider-Man movie?
We
had to reach back in the 70s.
Yeah, they had a TV. I don't know if it was a made-for-TV movie
but it was
but it was garbage. Well, it wasn't like, I mean, back then it probably wasn't, but
Yeah. I don't know, Josh. They didn't continue it, so.
Yeah.
All those, that whole era of like the original era of superhero movies is just so before my time that I
The original Captain America,
Yeah.
the original Punisher.
I look back at it and I gotta make sure it's not like a spoof. Like the Punisher looks, I feel like that looks like good, at least from the pictures I've seen. I've never seen it, but it doesn't look like comedic. But like, I can't go back and watch the old Batmans or the old Supermans. I just can't. It doesn't feel relevant enough to me now, you know. And I know it's just because of my age. They're probably great movies, but they're just hard for me to go back to look at.
Millennials.
I know.
Oh,
We're just killing
classics.
classic superhero movies.
especially Richard Donner's Superman was good.
They were good. Yeah.
If they were Dolph Lundgren as Punisher,
Yeah.
They had Dolph Lundgren as Punisher? I did not know this.
that's who the Punisher was.
That's who the Punisher
It
was, man.
I don't know if it was right. If it was right after Rocky 4, or yeah, that's who. I'm pretty
sure, yeah.
That's who it was.
Was he good at it?
I don't remember much about it.
He does not seem like the Punisher to me.
Yeah, he was the Punisher.
I guess I just always assumed Thomas Jane was the first Punisher. That was just in my brain. That was
No.
the story.
I did enjoy that.
I did
one.
enjoy that one as well.
Yeah, it's flack, but I enjoyed.
I loved his short that he did
That
afterwards.
was really good.
Yeah.
That's my kind of Punisher. But this guy, I don't know his name, is playing him on Netflix, but he's really sweet.
I'm gonna shout the name in like 10 minutes while you guys are in a different conversation when I figure it out.
Yeah. He's pretty sweet in that show.
Plays a good psycho. I played a good psycho in The
He-
Walking Dead as well.
Yeah, he just something about him. He has so much going on, like behind his eyes. Like so much of his acting
Yeah.
is his eyes and his eyebrows, but it's just perfect. You're just entranced watching him.
Yeah, he did a good job.
John Bernthal.
There you go.
Yeah, he much better than Dolph Lundgren. But even better than that Punisher Warzone one. I didn't care for that either. Right after whatever his name is, Thomas Jane did
Yeah,
his.
I don't know why he never got a. I don't know why they thought that this other guy was gonna take off with it. Could have just kept him in it and
Yeah.
maybe made something out of it. But
I never saw that one. That was like right before they all kicked off, like all the superhero movies kicked off, right?
yeah, no, had Newman in it. I remember
That's
that.
fantastic. Who is he? What part does he have in a Punisher movie? I love this already.
He was pretty much his gun guy, wasn't he?
I can't remember.
I think he
I've
was.
seen- I saw it one time.
He was his faithful assistant, I believe.
That's just perfect. I now really want to see this movie. You sold me.
No, it would be nice if they could keep Punisher. Just bring this guy into the big screen now. The ones that are using on TV, but I don't know if they have any plans to do that.
It seems to me that their Netflix stuff seems very self-contained.
They're just keeping it there.
I think so.
Because I really enjoyed his style.
Yeah. I like all those.
Yeah, I like
Good.
all the Netflix ones are not halfway bad. I mean, they're pretty darn good for the most part.
There's some.
Hopefully that.
Good.
No, you're fine.
There's something about Luke. Like I just feel like the writing in Luke Cage was really just not great. I like Mike Coulter. He did honestly the whole cast pretty much. I really liked. I liked whoever played Shades. I liked Cottonmouth. That guy was fantastic. And spoiler alert, they should not have killed him. Like he was the best villain in the show. I don't understand why they decided that was a good idea, but they did. But I really, really loved Daredevil. I have not seen Punisher yet. I really liked Iron Fist, despite what everybody says about that. That show's great. And Jessica Jones was really good, too.
I do believe that DC, what's their new streaming service called?
DC Universe.
DC Universe. I would hope that they could start making. I know they're going to be making the Teen Titans or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I think it's Teen Titans. No,
I think it's just called Titans, but yeah, it's the Teen Titans.
Yeah. I'd hope that they could start making other shows that would do well for that.
They're going in full.
Do well.
Sorry, you broke up there. What was that?
I just thought that they could. I kind of just stopped talking.
I was gonna say you didn't lose him. He just stopped talking.
Stop talking. I thought you were going to say something, but I think that they have a lot of characters they could make for TV.
Mm-hmm.
I understand they're starting the Titans because they happen to be, they're famous and stuff. But I would kind of like for them to get away from the group type thing and go towards the individual type stuff.
Yeah. They seem to be confident enough in Titans that they're already in full swing on production on Doom Patrol. Like, I saw some set photos the other day, and the costumes in that don't look half bad.
That's pretty cool.
FYI, Wayne Knight played Micro. Just in case you guys want to know.
Micro.
Played the role of Micro.
Micro, okay.
Punisher war.
Played an action figure of Micro.
Nice. But the DC universe, like, they're very hung up on the Titans. They're not bad. I mean, I really enjoyed the first Teen Titans cartoon.
I grew up on that cartoon.
Then they made that. Now they made this Teen Titans Go, which is garbage.
Yeah.
Hopefully this Titan show's not bad. I would like for them to. Are they making a Nightwing movie or are they making a TV show? So movie.
Yeah.
I really want that to be successful.
Yeah, all that stuff will be disconnected. Like, they've got their CW universe, they've got their DC universe, and they've got their movie universe, and then they have their other movie universe.
That's just too much.
It's a lot of universes, you see.
Yeah, it's just...
The CW ones are self-contained.
Yeah.
Though. I mean, they do a pretty good.
Yeah, I very much enjoy those. I feel like their streaming service has the chance to be their Netflix shows. Like, they're allowed to go dark with those, which Titans is a strange choice to do that first, but I'm willing to wait and see. Doom Patrol, I don't know enough about that. Like, I'll be going into that like I did Guardians, where I didn't know much about the Guardians going into that movie. That'll be about how I go into Doom Patrol, I think. But I really want them to hit with characters like you're talking about solo shows. Constantine would fit perfectly in their DC streaming service. Like, I know he's in the CW universe, but there's already 2 Constantines in the DC comics universe. Just have the cool dark Constantine stuff on the DC streaming service. I would love to see that show. He's just such a great character.
Yeah. Didn't they have a TV show on Fox? Is that who they had it on?
I think it was on Fox for 1 season, yeah, then it got canceled. But they have that same guy playing Constantine in the CW universe.
I never got to watch that one.
Oh.
There's a point in time where there's almost too much TV shows on that I can't keep up with.
Oh my! My own brother just drove a knife right into my heart.
Yeah.
Did you ever think, though, that when you grew up there would be so much superhero content out there that you couldn't see all of it? I never thought that day would happen.
No, no.
We were just happy to have animated TV shows when Cole and I were growing up.
Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters.
And you had the X-Men animated series.
Batman, the animated series. Oh,
Amazing Spider-Man. TV show or cartoon.
They were all fantastic.
Now we're spoiled.
Now we're spoiled. Yes.
Now I can pick and choose.
Yeah. We can sit back and critique stuff now, so just being happy it exists. We're all jaded and terrible.
Exactly. Yeah. It's good times. Good times.
Whenever you can be negative about superhero content, there must be a lot of it out there, so it's just good stuff.
This is true.
Yeah.
Because,
of course, we've deeply offended somebody out there.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't know who it is.
Rest in peace, the offended.
We have. Yeah. Sorry about bad mouthing the Fantastic Four movie, whoever you are, but it was
I feel like that's
Whoever-
the unique superhero movie that just has no defenders. Like, I feel like they just don't exist. If they do, they're trolling, and I'm convinced of it.
Yeah. Because I've not heard anybody that's actually watched it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I feel like
based on the box office, no one watched it. So,
like when I was growing up when the first 2 Fantastic Four movies came out. When I was a little kid, I recognized that they're not high art or anything, but they were at least fun. Like, they just tried to be entertaining.
Yeah, they're fun.
They're not.
Yep.
They're kind of poor, but they got some things right, and it was a fun family dynamic between the 4 of them, which is how it should be. And I haven't watched Fantastic Four Stick, but I did. Well,
Well, there's one movie we didn't mention today
What's this?
that really sucked. Green Lantern.
Oh god.
Yeah.
He said it.
I almost thought that was going to ruin Warner Brothers or DC movies forever.
It almost did.
I feel like that's why they went so far, like, and I love Man of Steel and Batman Superman, so don't get me wrong, but that's why I feel like they wanted to go for a darker tone. It's because they went for a lighter tone there and it didn't land. Like, I feel like that movie gets a little too much crap, probably, but it's not a very good movie, and whoever designed that costume should not design Green Lantern costumes. Not to be mean, they might be a great designer, but don't do that, please, ever again.
I just thought that I wouldn't have brought up Green Lantern at all had you not mentioned the first two Fantastic Fours. Because Galactus
Ooh.
looked exactly like the bad guy, or the Green Lantern bad guy looked just like Galactus.
Yeah.
From
I was gonna say Galactus didn't have a look in the Fantastic
Yeah.
Four, so
yeah, he just a
Which
big
was-
storm, and that
yeah.
kind of reminded me. It happened in Green Lantern because Green Lantern kind of fashioned itself off that.
Yeah, Parallax was very much the discount
Yeah,
Galactus. He was just a
Parallax.
discount version of the discount Galactus from the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. So yeah,
kind of like having Steppenwolf as your
Ugh.
bad guy in Justice League,
It's like,
and then not mention Darkseid at all.
did they not at all? I can't remember. I've done my best to block. Did they not ever name drop Darkseid at all in that movie?
Nope.
Oh.
Well,
he may have.
he may
alluded-
have made one reference, maybe, and that may have been to,
when he was putting the mother boxes together or whatever. Something
Yeah.
about Darkseid.
but not enough to like say, oh, hey, he said it.
Yeah.
Like, nah, it was really.
I feel like I go through a whole new depressive episode whenever I remember that movie exists.
You can blame Josh for that too. Yeah.
So I mentioned Galactus and not knowing the Parallax guy.
Yeah.
it led to Steppenwolf.
Speaking of bad superhero movies, remember those Ghost Rider movies? Good
Oh.
times.
How could it be bad? Nicolas Cage's in it.
Now,
Come on, guys.
I'm the only person on earth who I just adore Nicolas Cage. He just, something about when he's on screen I just can't not watch. It's just something about the way he is.
It's his
It
face.
is. Like, he just,
It's his face, and he plays the same character in every movie that he has.
like, I feel like he used to take, like, roles seriously, and he used to look at a script and decide to be in the script based on quality. Like, back in, like, the 90s. Like, when Family Man and stuff was coming out, like, Nicolas Cage was cooking out good movies. It was good stuff. And then he
Now
gave
it's all
up.
about the Benjamins.
Yeah.
I think he got in trouble with the IRS. That's
Yeah.
kind of like not as bad as Wesley Snipes, but something happened. I thought he was just cranking movies out to pay stuff
Wesley
back.
Snipes.
Wesley Snipes, did you see that they might be bringing Blade back?
I think I saw something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be good. If they do it in, I think, the Netflix universe, I think it would fit better in that. If they do that, they have more free reign to do what they
Yeah.
want.
I just isn't the vampire thing dead already? Like, isn't it dead?
Did anybody do vampires cool though? I feel like it's dead once we've done it well. I don't think anybody did.
But shouldn't that be your sign there, not
Yeah.
to do it? And like,
That might be true. That may be.
The first one was pretty good, but Blade.
well, I'm not saying that the Blade movies weren't half bad. It's just look at the crap we've had since then.
I don't know. I don't watch
Yeah.
vampire movies, so I don't know.
You
Well, they
know,
are making a Morbius movie.
don't put a missus in your life because then you'll watch crap like Twilight.
Oh dear.
Gee.
I'll say a prayer for you.
Yeah. Jeez, it's bad.
I am very somewhat intrigued in what Sony's doing. Like, where they're just making a bunch of Spider-Man villain movies without Spider-Man. It's confusing to me, but I feel like they'll have to come at it from such a weird angle that they might be oddly good. Like making a Craven movie, they're making a Morbius movie, they're making Venom. I don't understand what's happening, but it could be interesting.
Well, as long as we don't have, was it Paul Giamatti as
That's right.
the Rhino?
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that one. I love that movie, but it was a strange choice. If he'd been in the movie more, I would have. And I love Paul Giamatti. Guy's a great actor. It was a strange casting choice, to say the least.
Yes. 100% agree.
Yeah.
Now that more people are being accepting to get into these movies, though, I think they can have the pick of whoever they want.
Yeah.
To play these roles.
Well, most people, I guess, what's that? Ethan Hawke accepted, seem to view superhero movies as like a serious genre now, where before it just seemed to be like the action genre.
Yeah. Or they're looking for paychecks.
That also. That's probably a bigger factor.
And I would join just about any movie if I was getting paid that kind of money.
I think it will be interesting though, because now they're making superhero movie, like the Joker movie has a $5 million budget, which is like, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure I read it was a $5 million budget.
It's low. It's very low.
Especially for the cast, that's ludicrously low. Like those people must be getting paid like indie role or indie film paychecks.
It almost reminds me as if they're doing it essentially kind of like how they've been cranking out these the horror movies, like The Purge and all that stuff. It's very low budget, but the returns are always phenomenal.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about 3 million people going to see it.
Yeah, and the Joker may turn out to be halfway decent, but again, you think you gotta have Batman in order for it to work.
Yeah, he's a character that has to rise because of Batman. Like he's a response.
Yeah, because
to Batman.
Batman kind of causes.
Yeah.
The Joker. I mean, it's
yeah. Like I feel like they don't have to be married to the Ace Chemicals vat thing if they don't want to, but Joker at his core he's a response to Batman. Like he can't exist without him. That's why.
Just like the Dark Knight, he didn't necessarily. It was just because Batman was there. Then, Heath Ledger's Joker came to be because some guys jumping off rooftops dressed as Batman.
Exactly. Like he just sort of rises out of the ground.
Do this.
Yeah, he doesn't have a backstory. He can give whatever backstory he wants. It's not true because he gives 15 of them. Like it just.
Yeah.
His only purpose is to be the anti-Batman, and it's good stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like if you give him a backstory, it takes away like the mystery of Joker, and he's just every other character instead of being the Joker.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they do.
But all right, we got anything else, guys? Or it's been about an hour.
I think that's a wrap for the first episode.
All right. So if you guys have any questions, or if you're like talking to any of us, you can email us at bucklethispodcast@gmail.com. You can tweet me at weapon_excellent, spelled with an X first and excellent. Or you can tweet Josh at _cateclan. All that will be in the description below. Do you have a Twitter, Cole?
Unit 91.
Unit 91. Okay, yep, at Unit 91. There you go. So yeah, any questions, you can email those to us or tweet those to us. And we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.